Hi, Mike here, English Nomad in Oz, and today I'm doing something a little bit different. So I'm going to have a bit of a play in my LandCruiser on the Powerlines track here in Western Australia. The Powerlines track is basically the service line for the power lines. Western Power use this track to service the power lines, which go from Mundaring. It's a hydro dam, and the power's carried to one of the rural towns of Western Australia, York. And this is a very popular place for people in Perth to bring their four-wheel drives and test them to the limits. It's a fairly tough track. There are some very tough sections. There are also easy sections. I'm going to probably go with the safe option where things get a little bit too tricky, because I don't want to damage the vehicle. As you can see, Bronson's very excited about the four-wheel driving today. He's looking forward to seeing what this LandCruiser can do. So let's get straight into it. First of all, I need to let some air out of the tyres, and that'll give me a better footprint and make the vehicle handle a little bit better on the softer, loose dirt and climbing over the rocks, just increasing that footprint. So I'll get straight into it. I'm using the ARB tyre deflator. This tyre deflator gives me a reading, so I just pull out the valve cover and let the tyres down to a pressure that I'm happy with. And I think for this terrain I'm going to go with around 22 psi. That should be more than adequate for this terrain. So I'll get into it. So that's the first one done. I'll go around and do the rest, and I'll catch up with you again shortly. Hi, so we're here in the cab of the truck, and you can see at the side of me I've got my co-pilot here, Bronson. How you doing, Bronson? Are you ready to go four-wheel driving? I think he is. I think he's ready to go four-wheel driving. So parts of the track are very much like this, quite easy going, a few rocks and a lot of gravel, sandy gravel type of terrain. We're just climbing up a slight gradient here. It's not, like I say, not particularly tough. I've got it in low range, four-wheel drive. I think I'm in second gear at the moment. So this is quite rocky here, as you can see. So I'm just crawling up in first gear. Just trying to pick a good line through these rocks. And looking at the tyre tracks, I think everyone's going the same way. I've already seen one other vehicle on the track while I've been here, while I was deflating my tyres. There was a Nissan Pathfinder past me. He gave me a wave. They're probably a little bit ahead of me. Might actually see them on the horizon at some point. So this track basically goes up and down the hills, following the power lines. As you can see, there's another power pole. I deflated my tyres down to 22 psi, as I said in the introduction, and that is going to help immensely over these rocks. It's going to mean it's less of a bumpy ride, although it is still a bumpy ride. That beep was my dog sat on the passenger seat, and he doesn't have a seatbelt on. So every now and again when I go over a bump, the weight triggers the warning buzzer to say that the seatbelt's not being worn on that side. And I'm being naughty because I've not got my seatbelt on, so I better put it on. There you go. Oh, I could just see a group of vehicles up ahead. I don't know if you can make that out. Just on the at the bottom of that hill, they're about to ascend that hill there. Looks like a couple of Nissans. Well, one's definitely a, I don't know, looks like a patrol, Nissan Patrol, and some kind of ute. From this distance I can't tell, but we'll see when we get a bit closer. What you tend to find is when you get groups travelling, they go a lot slower, and I tend to catch up with groups quite quickly and then pass them if they're polite enough to let me through. Yeah, there's another few vehicles, so it looks like there's quite a large group going to head up there. So we'll see what happens. I think one of them there, yeah, that's another Nissan Patrol. Okay, so I'm going to stop the video for now so I can concentrate on my driving, and I'll get back to you guys shortly. So you can see these guys are going up there now. Yeah, definitely there's two Nissan Patrols. It looks like a Nissan Navara. I think one looks like, I can't see from here, looks like it could be a Ford or a oh, could be a Toyota Hilux, the silver one there. So that's where we're going to go very shortly. They're taking the time going up there, and probably just as well. It looks quite rocky. And the white Nissan on the left, he's opted to go the easy way, or the easier way. So when they've cleared off, I'll go and do it as well. Bronson's having a good walk around and checking out the scenery. I'm sure all that bumping around in the cars made him want to go to the toilet as well. Okay, so this guy seems to have come to a bit of grief in some water in his Mitsubishi Ute. He's going to be pulled out by this gentleman here. And as you can see, my dog's loving the water. Hopefully his car's able to start again. Bronson, come on! Bronson! Bronson, come here! Bronson, come here! Come here! Come here! Yeah, you should always keep a distance when someone's winching. If that winch strap lets go, they haven't got a damper on it. If that lets go, someone could get hurt. Yeah, so this guy's well and truly stuck. I think it's going to take a bit of a snatch as well to get him out of the mud. Yeah, the winch isn't cutting it. And my dog's just going to get fucking wetter and wetter. So this guy's well and truly stuck. He's they've tried winching him out already, and yeah, that didn't seem to, with the snatch strap, but that didn't seem to work. It looks like they're going to have a go at winching him directly off his tow bar. And it's pulling him in. Oh, no, he's moving now. It's coming out now. It looks like he must have been stuck to the mud. He's going to try and drive out. And yeah, he's probably looking at quite an expensive bit of work to dry that vehicle out as well after this. It'll be full of water. That's whether the vehicle will start now. Hopefully it's not sucked any water into the engine when it got stuck. They've put a damper now on the snitch, on the winch cable, on the, I was going to say snatch strap, don't know where snitch come from. Oh, look at all that water coming out. Oh dear, that's a lot of water. Oh well, let's see if we can manage to get it started. back again. I'm at the end of the Powerlines track now. I hope I got some interesting footage. I'll see when I process the video when I get home. Bronson spent most of the second half of the trip in the back of the tray because he decided to take a dip in some dirty water, and he's now dried off, so he can come back in the cab with me and finish the last section of dirt road before we hit the bitumen again. It was interesting coming along that guy who was stuck in the water. I asked him afterwards what had happened, and he just said he got stuck in the mud and he stalled the engine and decided to leave it there and didn't attempt to restart the engine. He was more concerned about getting water sucked into the engine. But it definitely does remind us that we need to take extreme precautions when we go four-wheel driving, and especially going through water. There was no real necessity to go through that water other than to I guess show off a little bit and, you know, see if the car could get through. But those water puddles, I mean, they're quite deep. They've got a lot of mud and silt and that in there. And if you get stuck in that mud and you haven't got the right equipment, or you haven't got the right pressure in your tyres, or you don't have diff lockers and all the other bits and pieces that will aid you in those situations, then you're not going to get out on your own. And thankfully someone helped him out. I didn't stick around to find out whether his car would start again, but you saw the amount of water that come out of the vehicle when he opened the doors. I would imagine he had several inches of water inside the cab, and that would have meant that the engine would have been partially submerged as well. Although the main thing is the starter motor and the alternator, how long was that sat in the water for and what damage has that done to the electrics. But hopefully he managed to get the car started and he's on his way. Lesson learned for himself, I guess, there. So what do you think about that? Please like this video, share this video and comment below. Thank you.